The new season is now live on the original server, and I know many of you are confused with the changes to all the heroes. But don't worry, because in this video, we're going to go through everything one by one, starting with the new hero, then the revamped heroes, and finally the heroes that got buffed and nerfed. Let's start with the new hero Obsidia, one of the heroes that will surely become a permanent ban in ranked games. For those who are confused about her skills, they're actually very simple. Her passive works like this. Every time you land a hit on an enemy, you get bone energy. You only get 1 bone energy from non-hero units like minions and turret, and 2 when hitting heroes. And to make sure it's not too broken, she doesn't get energy from jungle creeps, which means no Obsidia jungle. Once you collect 30 bone energy to fill the bar, it automatically converts into a bone shard. And killing an enemy hero instantly gives you 1 bone shard. Every hit you land will release all the bone shard stacks you currently have. So here, I only have 2 stacks, and you can barely notice them. But look at the difference when I have 19 shards. It would be too broken if the stacks were unlimited. That's why they set the limit at 25 stacks. By the way, when her skill hits, it multiplies the bone energy you gain by 3. So if you land her first skill on multiple targets, you'll be able to stack much faster. You'll also trigger her passive on the first hero that her skill 1 hits. Meanwhile, her second skill, Phantom Shadow Meld, gives her a 500% movement speed boost for 0.3 seconds. And since the skill is only a speed boost, you can still use it while inside Minsithar's ultimate because it isn't considered a dash. Now let's move on to her game-breaking ultimate that stops dash and blink skills, which is going to be a big problem for assassins and heroes with multiple dashes. Her ultimate is a single target skill, and once it hits, you'll automatically dash toward that hero and won't be able to escape from their range. You'll also be forced to follow the target wherever they go. This means fast heroes, like Zilong, can literally run you straight to their base. But don't worry, there's a cancel button, so you won't end up stuck under the enemy turret. It also temporarily adds 5 bone shards, so if you're already at max stacks, it becomes 30 for the duration. Her ultimate looks so broken, that's why they made it harder to aim. So there's still a big chance you'll miss it. Now, let's move on to the newly revamped Alice. Her mana has been removed and replaced with Crimson stacks. When you fill the 2 stacks, her passive will trigger. It used to be her ultimate, but now both the animation and damage are much weaker. But as long as you keep hitting the enemy hero with it, it won't stop. Jungle monsters, minions, and heroes each give 1 stack. But keep in mind that even if you hit multiple units, it still only counts as 1 stack. But that's fine, because using her skill 1 and 2 will quickly fill the stacks anyway. Her skill 1 hasn't changed at all, it's exactly the same as before, and can still be used for wall tricks. Her skill 2 no longer immobilizes enemies, and it now applies a 70% slow. And if you use it while her passive is active, it will trigger an extra explosion and an additional damage. Meanwhile, the immobilize has been moved to her new ultimate Throne of Ruin, making Alice feel even more like a control-oriented tank. Alice becomes crowd control immune while casting, takes 50% less damage, but moves very slowly during the cast. Because her ultimate takes a while to cast, you can start with skill 1, then immediately cast the ultimate, and follow up with skill 1 again. This way, the ultimate's effect lands perfectly, and the enemies can't escape. I've seen a lot of people saying the old Alice was stronger than the revamped version, but it's still too early to judge. We all know this happens with every revamped hero. At first people think they're weak, but once they figure out the right strategy, they turn out to be really overpowered. Now let's move on to Thamuz. Actually, the revamp is mostly just his appearance. He looks way cooler and scarier now, like he's fresh from the bath. I mean, fresh from a volcano. And about his skills, it's considered just a buff since he's listed under the buffed heroes. Let's start with his adjusted passive. Every basic attack that does not trigger lava eruption increases Thamuz's lava rage, which raises the chance of triggering lava eruption. The fuller the lava rage, the higher the chance it activates. Meanwhile, they optimize the collision detection of his skill 1, and it's now faster. It moves quickly behind the target and drags them back. Also, his second skill was optimized. Both the casting experience and visual effects were improved, making it much smoother to use now. One of his biggest buffs is to his ultimate. The force swing time has been reduced, letting him transform faster, and he now gains full lava rage upon transformation. The max HP has been reduced to fixed 600 HP from 500 to 1500, but he now gets an additional 30 to 50% max HP bonus, which he didn't have before. And to balance him, they reduced his attack speed bonus. It used to be 1.3 times to 1.6 times, but now it's only 60 to 100%. With those adjustments, I'm really excited to see him get picked in MPL tournaments. Unfortunately for Dyrroth, only his visuals and some animations were revamped, and his skills remain the same. However, his lore has changed, so we might see a skill revamp in the future. Now let's talk about the insane buffs Angela got. They reduced her ultimate's cooldown from a fixed 70 seconds to a fixed 20 seconds. And yes, you heard that right, just 20 seconds even at level 1 ultimate. They also optimized her ultimate. Now, if you press it without targeting any ally, you automatically attach to the low HP ally being targeted by the enemy or appear in the battle for 3 seconds. Using Angela is much easier now for all you Angela mains, but to keep things balanced, the base shield she gives when attaching has been lowered. And for those who were targeting minions with skill 2 due to Pindot gaming, you can't use skill 2 on minions anymore. You can now also see the range of the area where the tether can break and when it will immobilize the target. Although the cooldown of skill 1 was increased by 1 second, this is still a major buff for Angela, especially for duos. Now let's talk about Bane, who got some buffs as well. They slightly increased the base venom damage of his skill 2 and raised the charge multiplier from 150% to 250%, which is a huge boost. They also reduced the charge time and increased the charge protection time, so you can use it more effectively. Meanwhile, they reduced the force swing time of his ultimate by 20%, so it can be now cast faster. The Shark's movement has also been sped up, and the airborne duration has been increased from 0.4 to 0.6 seconds. Do you think this is enough for him to enter the meta? As for Silvanna, her skill 2 was adjusted. Now it can only be interrupted by high-level Cici effects like Frozen, Petrify, Airborne, Transform, and Suppress, similar to Odette's ultimate. For Chip, his wave clear got buffed. Minions can now be marked, making it easier for him to clear waves. His physical defense growth was also slightly increased by 0.5. Now let's move on to the nerfs, starting with Floryn. The shield she gives to allies with the Flower of Hope was reduced, since her healing combined with the shield felt too unfair. They also made it easier to share the Flower of Hope. You can now just drag it, similar to how Angela's ultimate works. They also added a new feature to Floryn's ultimate, where allies below 60% HP will now be highlighted, and those close to dying will turn red, making things much easier for Floryn users. This definitely isn't a nerf, since they made Floryn super easy to know when to ult. And for Kimmy users who rely on tap-tap for auto-aim, the hit interval has been slowed down, so now you'll be forced to actually aim. As for Cici, her basic attack splash damage got enhanced. You'll notice her yo-yo hits a wider area now, tagging more enemies, which feels pretty unfair for a long-range hero. Another great update and super useful is the new skill duration timer. It appears beside your hero level and shows the exact countdown of your skills. This is a huge help, especially for beginners who often get confused about when their skills will actually end. Also, the annual map change is now live on the original server. The map you get is random, with options like Broken Walls for Johnson drivers, Dangerous Grass made for Natalia. Eudora also has home court advantage here, Flying Cloud, which looks like Goku's Kinton Cloud, and Expanding River. And in my first game as an Epical Glory, I immediately got Expanding River. At first, I wasn't sure what that arrow meant, but it looks like the movement speed boost area has just gotten bigger. I also really like these in-game notifications, like instant kill, superb healing, and many more. And the post-match screen is great too. I believe some accounts got this earlier, since I saw it on my main account, but they've made it even better now. Also, the season-exclusive achievements really show what kind of player you are, and hopefully, this will get even better in the future. So, that's all for now on Project Next. Hopefully this video cleared things up for you. We'll keep uploading content like this, so don't forget to like and subscribe for more vid like this.